Welcome to the Studio-littleBold podcast, where vision meets execution, creativity finds clarity, and mentorship unlocks potential. I'm your host, Abigael Osidiana, and this is the space for designers, dreamers, and change makers looking to build bold ideas and shape the future of interior design. Hello, my name is Abigael Osidiana. I am an interior designer with a decade in experience, and I'm also the founder of Studio-littleBold, which is an interior design consultancy based in Nairobi, Kenya. Our main focus at Studio-littleBold is contemporary designs for residential new builds. We also are now trying to focus into interior design education so that we can help aspiring interior designers get into the field and get practical knowledge. So I'd like to start by introducing our business, what the name means, so that we also kind of know each other a little bit in depth. So Studio-littleBold has three parts. So studio, little, and bold. So the word little and bold can be looked at in two ways, little being me and bold being as fearless as I am. Additionally, bold specifically speaks to my unique personality that's very fearless, confident, bold, very out there, go-getter kind of personality, but it does not necessarily reflect on the kind of designs that we do. We don't do colors and loud and outrageous kind of designs. We are very minimalist, very simplistic. However, my personal personality is very bold. So studio means my creative space. So when I merge the words studio and little-bold, I basically am speaking about my creative space where I want to be fearless, I want to be bold, I want to be out there. And I also would like my community to join on that same mission of being fearless, outrageous, courageous, and very outgoing. So the kind of services we provide, we more or less focus on interior design consultancy for residential. Now, when you look at the residential space, there are different ways you can go. You can do new builds, you can do renovations. We work on new builds. New builds means, let's say a developer or an individual homeowner is building a home for the first time and they want an interior designer to come, set everything in place so that it's very functional, that is aesthetically pleasing for whichever users come into mind. So those are the kind of projects that we typically end up doing. And our work impacts clients in that we create a space from the onset that is very calming, that's organized, that you can easily move into and make it your own. So as I mentioned before, we are very neutral, very minimalistic, contemporary kind of chic. And when you come into the spaces that we design, it's very easy for you to get into the space with whatever kind of furniture you have, and it actually works. So when you have the neutrals, you have the clean lines, nice finishing kind of design, it's a lot easier to integrate a lot of people. So that's what we do in a nutshell. So I'd like to take you through my career journey now so that you also see what's my background, what kind of informs what I do as of now. So first, I was inspired to pursue a career in interior design because my father was, whichever it is, a mechanical engineer, and he was already in the construction space. Additionally, one of my elder brothers is an architect. And when you're moving around such circles, you kind of gravitate towards something similar, if not the same thing. Initially, I wanted to follow in my brother's footsteps and be an architect. However, I remember him kind of just having a pep talk with me as I was looking for universities and what to do. And he mentioned, you can try interior design because in my firm, I do interior design and I'm an architect and I still get paid almost the same. Interior designers still get paid almost the same, if not more, than architects in the space. And he said, why not try that? And also look for something that's flexible, something that you can employ yourself later on so that you're able to balance your responsibilities of family and work. That to me is very important, balancing the two. So it really spoke to me and to my essence of what I wanted to do. So in terms of school, I will start from university. So my undergrad degree, I did it at Mason University, and I took a 4-year course in interior design. It was called Bachelor of Arts Interior Design with IT. And then after on, like currently I'm pursuing my master's, and I'm just about to do my second defense for my master's. So I'm almost done. I'm almost done, yeah. So my master's is not in interior design, it's in business administration. And more or less I took that so that I can broaden, being that I'm a business owner currently, yeah. So when I look at what I'd like to discuss, so I'm looking at my iPad just to have talking points because I don't have a guest, right? So some of the impactful lessons I've learned as an interior designer. One, you need to have a lot of initiative. No one will come and follow up on too many details with you. So if you're not accountable on your own, then a lot of things are going to slip through the cracks. If you're not accountable on your own, you'll be left behind because softwares are changing, materials are changing, things are evolving, yeah? You need to stay informed, stay aware, see what trends are happening, even though you're not really for trends, but you really need to have that understanding as an interior designer. Then I'd like to discuss something interesting, how my real world experiences differed from classroom theories. So I felt like classroom was very shallow, for lack of a better word, in that I didn't really feel like I was prepared for the real world. I was thrown into, let's start with my first internship, where I was an intern in an interior design firm, but handling a huge hotel. Yeah. That time you really don't know how materials work. You don't know how things are installed. You don't really have the real world practice. And I really wish that there was some level of touch points that were handled in campus that would prepare me for that information. So more or less I was thrown into the ocean and I had to sink or swim one way or another. Additionally, I found that the real world experience is different in that now I want to speak as a business owner, not only as an interior designer, yeah? So as a business owner, I've realized the real world, it highlights your deficiencies in ways that can really throw you off, yeah? You come to realize maybe at a point that you're not, let's say, emotionally intelligent, or you don't know A, or you don't know B, or you don't know how to handle customers, your customer service is not great, and you're here on the ground dealing with real projects and real customers and real teams and real people, and you really have to get all your ducks in a row and know what to do, yeah? So it's like forcing you to learn everything at once, yet you still have to balance family, you still have to balance rest, you have to balance running your team, have to balance the projects, how things are going on. So the real world for me is a learning curve and you can imagine this is 10 years later, me telling you that I'm still learning very different things from what I learned in school. Yeah. At the beginning of my journey, I wish I was advised that interior design is not just about creativity. I wish someone told me that I need to balance my client relationships. I need to learn how to network, because some of the things that help you, some of the solutions that come in when you're handling projects come from your networks. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for ABCD stone. Do you have it? Do you know someone who has it? Where can I get this? Now, if you're introverted like me, how are you going to handle a situation like that? You're sitting in your corner, you wish that you can work everything at your desk, at your home, or whatever in your confined space, but you really need to interact with the real world. And I really wish that was emphasized at the start of my journey. Yeah. So through my journey of interior design and Studio-littleBold, I need to touch on a bit of history. So before I started Studio-littleBold, I was previously employed. So rather than going backward, let me start from the beginning, right? So my first internship, I was interning at the place where I mentioned I was handling the huge hotel. And I worked there for 2.5 years. After that, I moved on to freelancing. I remember at the time I was very burnt out. And I remember speaking to my boss at the time and telling her, actually, I'm feeling like I'm so burnt out. And at this point, either I leave or you're going to fire me. You know, when you know you're going to be fired soon. Yeah. And the reason this happened is I was overextending myself too much. You know, yes, you want to learn, you're eager, you want to learn, you want to try. And again, I was also handling like a side hustle because I wanted to earn some income for transport, etc. Yeah. And I remember I used to leave the house by 6 a.m. so that I can catch a mat. And do my connections, and it needed approximately 2 hours. So if I left later than 6 a.m., it means I would not be at the office by 8 at that time when I was living at my parents' house. So note that I've left the house at 6, I'm at work at 8, and then from 6 o'clock, I'm side hustling, right? Trying to make an extra income. I leave the office at 10 p.m. So either I'm side hustling or I'm learning rendering with a friend of mine, so my colleague. She used to tell me, I used to tell her, teach me how to render. And she'd be like, okay, on this particular 1 to 3, 4 days, I can teach you and I'll also sit with you, because she used to live in Rongai those days and it didn't make sense to leave the office early to go to Rongai. You'll sit in traffic. So she'd be like, I'll wait for you as you're learning and whatever. So I always used to leave the office at 10. And during that time, it's not rush hour. So quickly, 15 minutes to town and maybe another 10 minutes to home. Yet in the morning, I've spent 2 hours on the road, right? So imagine 2.5 years of leaving at 6 a.m. and getting home at 11 p.m. I was completely burnt out. So note at this time, I had done my internship there. I went back to school. I did my internship for, I think, 6 months, 5.5 or 6 months. I went to school. And then when I came back, the lady offered me a job. So when she offered me a job now, I worked for the 2.5 years. So now when I'm burnt out, I'm having this candid conversation with her. I didn't throw a tantrum or an attitude. I just told her, by the way, this is the scenario. I'm feeling like I'm burnt out. And she asked me, where have you gotten a job? And I told her, imagine I don't have a job. You're like, you can't be living with nothing. And I told her, yeah, I actually feel like I need a break to go and rethink and maybe recharge. Then maybe I can get into it. At this point, I'd done so much interior design that I hated it. You know, so I was sure I am not going back to it. I was tired and sure. Then I remember on my last day, I spoke to God and I was like, God, I need you to give me a sign. If this is the direction I'm supposed to go, I need a sign from you. If it is not, let it be. So I'm leaving, and the next day, funny, now this client for the big hotel calls me and tells me, oh, by the way, there's a friend of mine who wants some serviced apartments, wants an interior designer, and they don't want someone who will charge them too expensive. So I was cheap labor. Yeah. So he tells me, are you interested? And I tell him, yeah. Maki, we had such bad history with this client at the beginning. And over time, I had proven myself and worked hard. And now he was able to trust me. And I tell him, oh, okay, I may be interested. How soon is it needed? He tells me, go and see the guy tomorrow at ABCD apartments. I'm like, okay. So I go to this particular place and they give me the work in 1 day of leaving work. Yeah. And I sit and I'm like, okay, now God, what do we do? I've never, I'm still kind of a rookie because I've just worked for like 2.5 years plus now the 6 months of internship. So like 3 years or so. And now I'm handling a serviced apartment. It was not one serviced apartment. It was 8 floors of serviced apartments 1 day after quitting my work. Yeah. Fortunately, they had already done all the hard finishes. They needed me to only do furnishing. Yeah. So they're like, okay, we just need you to do furnishing for us, help us source. We don't know what to do with furniture. It says like, even better. I don't need to deal with tiles, lines, concrete and things like that. We are good to go. Eventually, so remember this time, you don't know how to quote. I've underquoted severely. So, I'm barely just making nothing. Yeah. And the client tells me, now we need to buy these items and I need you to go to China. I have never left the country. I have never selected for things of that nature for a client. And now I'm traveling out of the country to buy a whole block of apartments. I was so freaked out, but I was so excited. For me, it was more like I'm traveling for fun. So interesting. So I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm going to China. What? I really wanted to. So I was very intrigued. So I go to this place. We plan in getting visa, blah, blah, blah. Check. Everything okay. Agreed. You'll go on this date, whatever. He tells me you'll go with my partner, whatever. With my naivety, you're not thinking too much. Oh my God, you're a chick. You're traveling alone with a man or anything. Like, you just, I'm traveling. This is so good. Yeah. So we travel. Thank God nothing happened. And he was not a weirdo. He was very respectful. But again, another stumbling block comes. We're supposed to be there. I think it was for 10 days. 3 days into it, he gets a family emergency. And he tells me, Abigail, he comes with a bundle of cash. And he tells me, you can figure it out. I'm going back to Kenya. My family has an emergency. Figure it out. Anything you need me to buy for the project, you'll deal with it, but here is your matumizi money, like your money for using. Figure it out. One, I've never been out of the country. I've never purchased things of this nature. I don't know how to maneuver. I can't speak Chinese. It was a lot. Fortunately, we had an agent, yeah? And this agent was it was a lot easier to kind of have them translate and whatever. So I managed to survive through that process, and I came back to Kenya. We set up the apartments. It was so nice. I felt so good. But that project, I was paid 1 year later. With all that excitement, I was paid 1 year later. So that was my freelance experience. At some point now I sat and I was like, okay, now I need to figure out what the next step is. So this has taken like another year. Since 1 year of freelancing and doing this apartment, I don't have any other project. Yeah. Then I remember I needed to move out from home, and I was like, okay, now what do we do? At campus, I used to do writing, this academic writing things. And I said, okay, I don't really have a real job per se. This project, I don't know when they're going to pay me, because now this is month 7, going to month 8 with no pay. Yeah. What can I do? I remember searching universities and colleges in Nairobi and searching like, I want to be a trainer. So eventually I get an opportunity at Evelyn's College of Design. Sadly, it's closed now. I think they closed a year ago or 2. And I applied and I'm like, okay, I can do this. Let's see. I just need some income. So I go and I'm accepted. I'm like, oh, okay, this is good to go. So the classes you're given specific days for teaching. And one of my classes was teaching people how to draw on ArchiCAD. So I go to the school. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, something like that. And I had like back-to-back classes. So when I'm out of the house, I'm out of the house. So I'm balancing. In the morning or the wee hours of the night, I'm writing. At night or during the day on my few days, I'm going to school to teach. I'm marking, I'm setting the coursework for class. I'm marking assignments and things of that nature. So that period continued. Then suddenly, the client the hotel client, right? He needs to do some apartments, and he reaches out to the initial team that was doing those apartments and says, oh, I need to do some apartments. Would you be interested? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm interested to do it. So I start doing that. Now that is freelance. I'm not employed. So I'm teaching and I'm doing this apartment. Unfortunately, mid-project, now remember, it's a development, not one house. Mid-project, my sister passes away. Now I'm unable to concentrate. It threw me completely. I really didn't know how to handle my emotions, how to handle things. I remember I just used to be in bed. I used to just be in bed all through the funeral. I just be in bed, I'm not really doing much. And I remember just speaking to him candidly and telling him, actually, I don't think I'd be able to finish your project. And I know legally I'm supposed to, but I don't have the capacity. Are you in a position to pick someone else? And he picked one of the ladies that we had worked with earlier on. He said, it's okay, no bad blood, you go handle whatever you're handling. Very courteous, very kind, and I really appreciate that. So now I've taken a break. In fact, I'm not working at some point. Then I start, now this funeral passes, etc. Then I move into what? So I'm still doing my writing here and there because now I've moved out. I need to pay rent. School is paying me basically nothing, but at least I have now two incomes. I'm teaching in school and I have my writing gigs. I'm barely just paying rent like this and eating like this, like just but surviving. Yeah. Then I remember now years are passing as we are discussing. I remember the lady now had referred, I told that previous client, you can speak to this lady that we were working with. She can assist. I don't want to leave you hanging, but I'd recommend just use her. So he still used like, that lady, sawa, let me call her. He already had her number. So they proceeded with the project. Now this is years have passed. They've done their things. I'm still doing my teaching. I'm still doing my writing. And he decides he wants to create his own farm because now he's a developer and he doesn't think he wants to keep hiring consultants. Yeah. And he asks her, could you come and join my team? So he's asked her because they've done that project and they finished. So they give her a certain date for reporting and she's supposed to give notice where she is. And she tells me, I'm not able to leave at that time. So can I refer Abigail to come and join at that work again? So I'm like, okay. She tells me and I'm like, I'm really not looking for employment. I remember just telling her, I'm really not looking for employment at this time. She's like, okay, I just need you to hold for me 2 months and then you go so that my opportunity is not gone. I've spoken to the X person and he's okay with you stepping in for me. I was like, sawa. I go into it. Go into it. Now I'm teaching, I'm writing, and now I have 3 jobs. Yeah. So I'm teaching here and there, I'm writing at night, I'm doing this job. Now you realize now pressure is coming in, something has to give. At some point, I dropped now the writing thing. Now I've remained with 2. Pressure now keeps building. We are getting real projects and real, turnaround times. At that time, I'm the only one in the office, right? As we are doing this, the 2 months are over and I tell her, Kwani, you're not coming? And she tells me, I need 1 more month. My boss has refused to let me go. I tell her, it's okay, 1 month, it's cool. Proceed 1 month goes. I call her, you're not coming? She's like, actually, I'm not coming. So I'm like, okay, what do you mean? I was holding for you so that you can come. She's like, my boss has even doubled my salary and I'm not coming. So you can keep the job. I tell her, but I don't want the job. I told you I'm not looking for employment, right? Then she's like, okay, recommend him someone else. The way I recommended me, find someone else for him. At some point, I was like, you know what? Let me do ABCD project until this time and then I hand over to him. Yeah. Time is moving, pressure, you're getting a hang of things, you're even setting up systems because you're alone, right? Then one person joins me. Eventually, he tells me, okay, now you have to drop your job at school. You can't be teaching anymore because now I was going like 3 times a week on that side, 3 times a week on the other side. And I tell him, okay, this does not make sense. But for it to do, then what are we do? How do we align this? He's like, no, you can't be doing part-time anymore. Decide and start next month. Now I dropped the other job at school. So now I'm fully as a junior interior designer. So I sit through the company slowly. I realize there's a lot of work to be done. I need a bit of help. Can I hire 1 person? And he's like, you want to hire 1 person? Cool. Okay, hired 1 person to assist. We move along. Now 1 person joins us. Now, because we were 2 people at the beginning, me in Kenya and 1 in Dubai. So the Dubai one comes and joins us, right? So now we are 3. Slowly, I'm running the office. I'm doing A, B, C, D. The small farm. It's now a lot of work. I ask him, can I hire someone else? Okay, hire. I hired someone else. So slowly I created the team that was in that particular farm. Now I moved from junior interior designer, I moved into lead interior designer. Now I'm leading a team, yeah? Out of nowhere, out of taking initiative, taking responsibility for just doing work that needs to be done without asking questions, yeah? I learned how to manage the team, how to schedule work, how to do presentations to clients just in that short span of time, yeah? Then eventually, now this is maybe 3 years or so past, or 2.5, something thereabout. And I traveled with him abroad. And now as we are there waiting lounge, coming back to Kenya, I tell him, by the way, you guys don't have an ops manager and I've been doing a good job at it. So effective immediately when we land in Kenya, I'm your ops manager. And he says, okay. He's like, okay. I get to Kenya, I'm ops manager. Of course, it pissed off my boss because there was no consultation. But you know what? I grabbed the opportunity that was there. Yeah. And I told him, this is the gap. I also note that my boss at the time, he was a creative and really didn't like the runnings of an office and of teams and things like that. And I really like that part. At some point, I was like, if this works out, I really want to get out of interior design and run with operations. So I come to Kenya, I'm like, you know what? If you're still with my salary, not asking for a raise, doing what needs to be done, presenting to the board. Now they're telling me, okay, now you're ops manager every week. You need to present to the board and to the senior management team in terms of cash flows, in terms of money, in terms of the team, who you've hired, who you fired, like kind of thing. So I'm taking real responsibility, dealing with clients, collections of money. Have your teams been paid salaries or not? So it was a lot. So I come back now, that becomes my life. Yeah. So 1 year later is when I tell them, okay, now I've settled into the role. I'm your ops manager. Now my salary needs to raise. Yeah. Effective January, my salary is going to be X amount of money. And they're like, you're outrageous. Abigail, this is too much. This is too much. You're asking for too much. And I was like, no, am I not doing this? Yes. Am I not doing this? Yes. Are we on schedule? Am I running the team well? Yes. Okay. What's the issue? No. Just the amount that you're asking is too much. Too much based on what? No, Abigail, this is not possible. I tell them, okay, you can give me a counter offer. They tell me, no, you come back with a counter offer. We'll call you on Tuesday, for example. So Tuesday comes. In fact, it's MD who's calling me alone. Tell me, have you thought about it? I'm like, yes. Have you come back with a reviewed salary? I say, yes. How much is it? The same amount. Yeah. He gets livid. He gets pissed. He's like, you're wasting my time. Abigail, we need to close on this. We need to figure the way forward. I'm like, but I've already given my reasons. I've given the amount. It is fair. I'm the one handling the cash flow, so I know where it's coming from. I'm not asking for too much. It's not, it's not destabilizing the company. And I'm also fighting for how I'm going to sustain it. We did that meeting like 3 or 4 times. The last time he comes and tells me, you know what? The next time we're calling you here, if you don't have another figure, we'll give you yours. Then they call me and they tell me, okay, this is your figure. Oof! It was what I wanted. Negotiations is a figure that you put, and then there's the one that, this is my figure. Landed exactly where I wanted, and I was like, good to go. So I was ops manager for a minute. Yeah. So running the team now became like a huge team. It became, by the time I think I was leaving, maybe we were a team of like 15 people, interior designers. And interior design teams tend to be quite small, maybe 1, 2, 3 people in a firm. And I remember just thinking, wow, this is a lot of pressure, but I had to advocate for myself. I had to, trust myself. I had to have the balls and the guts and the courage and the confidence to say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm contributing. This is what I deserve. And in return, this is what I'm going to bring to the table and add for you. Yeah. So basically, when you look at it, my journey has been very interesting in that I've touched on a lot of aspects within interior design and within business. Yeah. So now when I left, at that time I was at Lehem Interiors. I then left because I just felt like I needed something fresh. Things were not really working the way I thought I needed. And I felt, this is a jump to go. When I was leaving, I had not intended to start my farm. I had actually decided that I will go home and just chill for a minute and think about my life. In fact, I told my husband, you know what? I'm coming home to be a housewife. And he was like, okay, like you figure it out, because I think he knows me. I can't sit still for too long. So he was just like, this is just passing. Yeah. But I remember telling me I'm tired and I'm coming, and you know what? ABCD. Of course, he knew my legitimate ABCD reasons for leaving. But on top of that, me telling him that I just want to be a housewife, I think he picked it up and knew that, this is just not her. But he was like, yeah. So I remember for like 2 months, I would just sit at home, sleep. You just come home and find me just in my pajamas. In fact, I used to make effort when he now walks in the door and be like, okay, now wake up, make the bed, go and shower, kind of thing. And when I think about it, I think I was just in a rut and I was a bit like depressed a little, like, what am I supposed to do? What's my next step? So after 2 months of chilling and doing nothing, I decided, you know what? Now I need to do something. I'm tired of idling. What to do? Then I said, you know what? Let me pick up what I already know, interior design. Why would I want to start with things that I really, don't know where to start from? And when I started, I decided to do cleaning, like cleaning for people, like cleaning and organizing company. Like we come, for example, to your pantry or your bedroom and we reorganize for you. We put organizers, we declutter for you, we tidy it up and we make it neat. So that's how originally it started. Remember, this time I've not registered a company. I'm just asking 1, 2, 3 people. So this is like maybe month one of deciding to start working. So after that, I told myself, actually, okay, maybe I can look for actual projects and maybe balance this, we'll see. Because I realized maybe the market or maybe who I interacted at that time, to be fair, was not really willing to pay the amount of effort that it took to do that kind of work. Because you're not cleaning alone, you're not decluttering alone. There's moving around, there's fuel to go and get the items, the organizers. Sometimes you need a painter because whatever you're organizing, that space looks so terrible. So the interior design aspects of it came into play. So at that time I decided, let me look for projects. Hey, believe it or not, I started just knocking doors of people I know. Phone book. I know you from this part. You remember me? We used to interact in this place. I was capacity. Nani, you're the ops manager, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm looking for a project. I've gone on my own and I'm looking for work. Remember, I've not registered a company. I'm just looking for work. In 2 weeks, I got my first client, paid a deposit. 1 week after that, I got another client, paid a huge, that project I was just testing. Honestly, I was just testing to see if I charge this, can they really pay me? Sometimes you doubt yourself. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Quickly, I realized, now I have too much work and I'm alone. What am I going to do? So I asked a friend of mine, I have some work. Can you do freelance work for me? I need drawings ABCD. We have ABCD deadlines, so we are helping each other at the time. So we are working. At some point, I realized now, because it's not a full-time job, she also had her things to do. So it's not flowing in terms of or meeting timelines the way the client is expecting. I realized real quick, I need to hire someone. So I posted, I think on my personal LinkedIn or something, that I'm looking. I didn't even have a legitimate anything, And I post and I'm like, I'm looking for an interior designer. Or no, actually at that time I was looking for a CAD tech. And I got someone. In fact, I remember when I was ops, there's a lady that I'd met before at my previous place of work. And she had reached out to me and told me, by the way, I'm looking for work, because she knew I was an ops person I used to hire at my previous work. So I told her, by the way, I left and currently I'm looking for someone to help me. Are you still looking? And she tells me, yeah, I'm actually looking. I've been home. I don't know if it was for a month or 3 months, something thereabout. And I'm looking. I told her, okay, are you okay for a 3-month contract? Because, I'm just like fidgeting my way through life at this point. So I really don't know the vision or the direction of the company. And she says, yeah. I'm like, do you mind working in a farm like this? That's just very heavy. Like, I don't even know where we are going, but I know we have work that will needs to be finished in 3 months. She's like, I'm good. Twende. To date, I still have that lady on my team. True and behold, and sometimes I look and I'm so grateful because she took a chance on someone who, on someone's lack of vision, but availability of projects. At some point now I sat with her and I was like, okay, now I'm actually thinking of doing this like full time or something of that nature. And would you, do we extend this contract? Are you willing? Is it too shaky for you? Like, is it weird? Is it something that gives you insecurity? She's like, yeah, I'm easy. Let's go, And we proceeded on. So that's how even Studio-littleBold kind of evolved from my history of interior design. So in a nutshell, that's just how my career has been. So let me see what else I needed to tell you guys. Yeah, have my little 2 points. Good. So I also need to talk to you about our educational segment. So as you've noticed in Studio-littleBold, we are most active on Instagram, but we recently have started posting like on TikTok, Kidogo, on LinkedIn, and now our YouTube is going to be up. Yeah. So I realized a gap when I'm even handling my team, that you may send, for example, someone to site to do a site inspection, but they honestly do not know what they are checking. Not that they're refusing to check. They're on site, yes, physically. They've done a site visit. Have you done the visit? Yes. But when you look at maybe the site images they took, you realize they didn't pick up on this issue, on that issue. They didn't pick it up. So I realized quickly, I'm sending people and I don't know what I'm sending them to check because they don't know. So I realized, one, there's a gap in the interior design space. Mark you, these are people who have worked in the industry for long. They're not interns. They've not just graduated from school. Another thing I noticed is maybe like on material selections and things of that nature. You realize they really don't know like how the materials come, for example, in which thicknesses, in which sizes, what works with what doesn't work. Okay. That's another problem when you have an interior designer on the team. Additionally, you realize what maybe someone proposes on a concept. When you look at the actual site that a client has given you, it doesn't make sense. It looks good on paper, but it would never work out. Then I sat to myself and I said, you know what? There's a gap. We need to educate aspiring interior designers on technical knowledge on interior design so that it makes sense to them, then so that their internships make sense, so that their first jobs make sense, so that their careers make sense. Because even for me, I'm on a learning curve. Sometimes I go to site and a contractor will teach me something and I'm like, okay, that's good to know. So I thought I really like the educational background. I like inspiring people. I like speaking to people. I like hand-holding people through the journey more than I like the site work and things of that nature, right? Why not go hand in hand, continue my consultancy, but also bring in the aspect of interior design education? Why not? And I said, you know what? There's no why not. We can just do it and we try and we move along. So that's how our educational segment came to be. And to kick it off, I wanted to have real stories from real interior designers like myself, telling us about their experiences in the real world and how it differs from school. Also having founders in the space talking to us about things they have learned along the way. And additionally, I've come up with a product, or let me call it a program, 2 programs actually. One is a 6-week accelerator program. It's an interior design accelerator program where we handhold interior designers who are about to go into internships on quick things that they need to know, both technically and on the soft skills, so that when they get into their first job or their first internship, they're able to swim and kind of, have a bit of footing. Because let's be real, sometimes you go into an internship and they don't have time to teach you, or they don't have someone to hold your hand, and they don't have someone to baby you or to show you these are the resources, these are the shortcuts. Yeah. So you can be having your internship on the side and having someone walk with you, someone like me or our program, walk with you so that you're able to have a mentor in real time. Our second program is our 3-month mentorship program. So the 6 weeks accelerator program is virtual, but the 3-month program has a hybrid model where we have most of our sessions virtually and we have like intensives. What are intensives? These are physical, practical workshops where we work on different aspects of interior design. For example, we can decide we are going to have a workshop on mood boards, or we are going to have a workshop on material selection, or things that are very practical. We show you from a practical point of view, this is how you do it. Yeah. And at the end of it all, because I already have an interior design firm, you can decide to follow that journey, use our mentorship program, but still have your assessment for university with us. You understand? So your lecturer can come and have an assessment because you're working on real projects, you're doing practical sessions, and we are able to hold a larger number than one intern at a time. Why is it? Currently, our setup allows for one intern, but if we do the mentorship programs, it means our intensives can be held at other venues that are not necessarily our office. Yeah. So based on my experience and the challenges that I faced and also the learnings that I had, I felt like, why not create an education program and empower other people along the way. So for this, we are going to have our registration forms coming up, our sign-up sheets. People can start signing up because we kick off on 5th of May 2025. Yeah, 5th of May. Save that date, 5th of May 2025. We kick it off and we hope to see you guys there. We want you guys to participate. We'll really immerse ourselves and also we'll learn and refine the program as we are moving along. Yeah. So karibuni sana. Welcome to our channel. Welcome to our podcast. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us, to engage. We would like to see your comments, your experience in the comment sections. Please like and subscribe so that we can have the go ahead that we are going in the right direction, because we can always pivot our content to actually suit what you really need us to speak about. Yeah. So see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining, and I'll give you guys one assignment. What should we call this community? Help me find that. See you.